Okay, we should be good. So first of all, I just want to say thank you guys for showing up. This has been a crazy, crazy, crazy month per usual. I like to at the end of the month just pull some numbers for you guys, just so that you can see how big of what your BARDA is, because it's truly incredible. It blows my mind every month. But you guys killed this month. Those $25 credits with the customers and even the new promoter accounts, I think just lit a fire in you with leveraging people, and it was incredible. So sales are way, way up this month. I tried to pull to see how many new customers we brought in just this month, and I don't know how to do that. So if somebody knows how to, tell me, but I can only see total. But yesterday morning, we surpassed 21,000 customers. Okay, that's a whole lot of customers for a team that's under a year and a half old. That is absolutely insane. And I feel like we put so much focus on obviously promoters and helping people build their businesses, but knowing how amazing the product is, that is the core of this, I think that is incredible. So I want to tell you guys that. On top of that, you guys have brought in over 365 new promoters this month alone. So like I said, it has been absolutely insane. I wanted to touch on that. I also wanted to say, just because you guys have been killing it this month, I know how much work you have been putting in, even around the holidays, which I know it can get really, really hard with the time management. You guys have been kicking ass. The Christmas giveaway, which I think I just said I would draw on the last day of this month, which I believe is coming up. Yes, it's the 28th. I'm going to do 2 winners instead of 1. So it was originally 1 winner for the $300 cash giveaway to buy Christmas presents with. I'm going to double that because y'all are badass and you have been working your butts off, and you deserve it. So I'm going to pick 2 winners from that at the end of the month to do the cash presents with. I also posted in the team page today what you guys thought about another retreat. Nothing is planned. I'm highly unorganized with that. But I want to hear your ideas, suggestions, what you think, where you'd want it to be, what the qualifications should be. Just start dreaming a little bit, because I think that was fun. It is kind of difficult because the company does so many getaways, which is amazing. Don't get me wrong. But with them being every 3 or 4 months and then the holidays, we got to fit it in somewhere. But I would love to do that for you guys. A lot of people have been saying the mountains, which I'm all for. I don't want to put on a bathing suit right now, so I'm good in snowy mountains. But give me ideas. I just like to hear from you guys, want to know what you think. Obviously, Florida was amazing, and a ton of us, I think there was over 60 of us there, got to go. But we do have so many new people in that I don't know, I feel like what you can feel in person with people and the morale you can get from us, although you can get it online, in person is so much more. And I would just love to bless more people with that and have us come together as a team and really just have a weekend to spend with us. Growing hopefully sometime after the new year. Also, I have a note sheet. That's why I'm looking down. The Beef Bites launch tomorrow, which I'm excited. I think what I want to say about this is I'm not a jerky person. I was a little bit thrown off. I thought it was going to be like a cute protein ball, but that's not what they're going for. But I think it's awesome that we have something that we can now offer other people. Like Travis is stoked. Guys like beef jerky. Women like beef jerky. So especially with it being hunting season, I think that that's kind of something fun to get your significant other or your husband or whoever more involved when they really have a product. I know that when I first started, it really took Travis taking the products to work with him when he was still in the oil field, and him feeling his results from them and actually falling in love with them for him to get that hype. And when the person you're with all the time or you're in a relationship with is hyped about what you're doing too, I feel like it's just really good juju, and it makes you more excited about your business and you're more pumped up. So I say that is just a better way to involve our male audience. Branch off on something new. I think it's kind of badass. They're doing something totally random I didn't expect. But that's tomorrow. So it said they will be available. I don't know when exactly. They normally do it at like in the morning to noonish. So I'm sure they'll send out emails with all the different flavors. All right, that's all I have. So I'm going to put it on speaker view. I'm going to bounce it over to Amanda quickly so she can get talking, because that's what we're here for. Get out your notepads and your pens. I'm taking notes. I'm just going to have her start with a bit just about who she is and her story in case you guys don't know her, and then we will go from there.
All right. So I planned a little bit. Life is a little crazy. Those of you who don't know, I did just have a new baby. So he's actually just hit his 2-month mark. So a little bit rewind 4 years ago, started this business in a different health and wellness company, which I think that's important to know because I have stayed in the health and wellness field, and I'm going to talk about that specifically when it comes to network marketing, being in that field. But I was watching my friend post, it lured me in, and I got judged and hated on and stuff. And I can't really tell you what it was. I think I used that to fuel my fire, and instead of using it as an excuse. And I dove into the world of social media really quickly. I only had 100 friends on Facebook when I started, and no Instagram. So not your prime target for someone you want to build a social media business with. But I think someone needs to mute. Am I right, Em?
I'm trying to go through as it's happening. I'm trying to catch up.
Okay. Anyway, so I was working full-time corporate America. I was a new mom at that time. There was a lot of transitions in my life, and I was just looking for a place to belong. Network marketing has become a home to me for the last 4 years. So that's really it. I actually worked my business. I worked very full-time at a stressful corporate job. It was sort of sales related, so in the technology field, and I literally just decided that I was going to stay consistent. I had an upline that quit after my first 2 months in my previous company. And so when I tell you some of these things, I want you to realize that I was self-taught. And what maybe took me 4 years to learn, if you really become a sponge and take this business seriously, we've got so many training and tools available for you. If you just show up, like you plug into these weekly chats, show up with our leadership, use our tools, because we didn't have anything like that when I started in this industry. I can't even imagine. So I was like searching YouTube for random stuff. I didn't have, like I said, my upline quit. And if I wouldn't have plugged in and became a sponge, that really molded why I am where I am today. I found a place to belong. It doesn't have to be your direct upline, and so that's just something interesting. It's your business, so make it what you want it to be. So yeah, that's pretty much it. I started off in North Carolina, lived there 10 years. Now I'm in Missouri, freezing my arse off. But this is where I'm from. And I have 2 boys and 2 multi-poos. So boy mom, dog mom. And I've grown my social media over the years. I wouldn't say I'm an absolute pro, but it's definitely something that you learn tips and tricks as you go. So I think that's about it. Yeah.
Awesome. I will say before I answer this next question, why I want you to learn so much from her and be a sponge when she speaks is that out of anybody I've ever met, I think that she kind of, I don't know the right word of how to describe it. She is like the voice of reason and actual income producing activities, where she will tell you what she does every day and why she does it, and she will hold herself accountable. My first question has to do with her being a busy mom, but she doesn't take excuses. She doesn't make excuses. And that's why she is where she is and why the flow of her business has continued despite having kids, despite being a busy mom. She knows what she has to do every day, and she does it, and she's continually growing. Like, I don't care if it's 3:00 in the afternoon or if it's 11:30 at night, she's there. You may hear the breast pump in the background, but she's there, and she's working her business, and she is doing it regardless of the, regardless, like you said, you sleep 2 hours a night right now, and she's still grinding. And that's why I love her, because she doesn't make excuses. So off of that, the first question is, just with being how busy you are and being a mom to a newborn, what are your top income producing activities that you do daily?
Okay, so for IPA, I think as the questions go on, I'll probably elaborate a little more for each specific thing. So I'm just going to brush over these because I have a lot of nuggets in as we go on. But my 3 top producing IPAs, Em is right. I'm more of, I run my business a little differently than some people. And we all do it different, and we do it the way it works for us. But for me, my number 1 IPA, and I may only get that done each day, is conversations. I am constantly in my messenger and available for my potentials. I do follow up quite a bit, but it's not to the point that I did when I was newer in this industry. By a follow-up, I just mean, how was your Thanksgiving? I'm growing this relationship with you. I want to be connected to you. And then if they have told me, you know, they're interested and they're ready to order or they want to order, if they don't answer me, I will try one more time and that's it. So I don't beat a dead horse, but my conversations are my most important piece. And I'm not going to elaborate on that right now. But that's my number one income producing activity. My next one is obviously showing up daily on social media. Definitely super, super important. And I have something that helps me a lot is I definitely have my top couple people, and it's on Instagram, that can get my creative juices flowing, because I am really sleep deprived right now, and my creativity took a vacation along with my sleep. So I need that creative people. And so I like the collaboration of that. And so sometimes I'll go to those two people and I'll look at it, and they're just my jumping off point. And then self-development helps me create my content as well. So between emulating, maybe not even, I have a girl I follow, she's not even MLM, but she's a social media machine, you know, like people like that get your creativity going. So it's either through self-development or creativity. So again, conversations, I have, the more conversations you have per day, the more results you're going to have. End of story. End of story. It's all it is. I really feel like that is the key to all of my success. Next is obviously my content and my brand. And you know, sometimes I'm a little iffy on that. That might be something that I'm always going to be developing. And like I said, I struggle with creativity right now, but I show up and I do my best with that. And I'm always going to show up regardless. And that's what my people need from me the most, is just to show up and be relatable. The next thing is growing my network. I grow my network daily. I do it a little differently. If you follow me on Instagram, sometimes I do. Right now, my daily drive to grow my network has been a little hard. I'm very crunched for time. I literally feel like my fellow moms are going to feel me here, but breast pumping is literally like a full-time job. I didn't even just breastfeeding in general. So it has eaten up some of my time, which I'm glad to do it. And I absolutely think it's amazing. So I have my hack for that right now. I will do a little lazier route. I do, if you want to look it up and stuff, I think it's a lot of fun. I think it's put me in contact with some cool people. I do blogger loops sometimes on Instagram, and it's just a quick hack. And I actually really like the quality of people, depending on what product the giveaway is. I do like the quality of people that add me because of those giveaway loops. I don't know why my dog's doing that. Dog dysfunction. Whoa. So if you go on my Instagram right now, or you're scrolling Instagram now that I say something, if you didn't know about it before, it's very cheap to team up with a group of bloggers and do a loop. You just have to make sure that loop is tried and true, because there are some scammers too. But I run those just once a month, and that really helps my growth and fresh eyes coming. What are you doing? What? Okay.
Yes.
Just a second.
No, I'll talk for 1 second. I'll waste that bait.
No, he just wanted to.
Look at the cheek.
This is Griffin.
Hi. He's like, I don't like this.
He looks a little constipated, but you know.
No, I love that. And I think that a lot of people don't see that side of it, that this literally is relationship marketing. And if you're not in conversations with people and developing relationships, you don't have a business, because that's where it all comes from. I mean, you can have the once in a blue moon lucky thing where somebody will message you and be like, hey, oh, you sell this, I want to buy it. But the basis of residual income in this business comes from relationships. And if you're not talking to people every day and keeping that relationship going, whether it's interacting or messaging or however you guys talk, you're not going to sell products. You're not going to have people join your team. You can't impact people without those relationships. So I love that. And I also love what you said about how you have those bloggers. That's what I do when I don't know what to post, or I feel like a content block where I'm like, I literally, like, I have nothing. I have nothing to give. I don't know what to say. I go on Pinterest a lot, or I do read, because I think even reading one chapter in a self-development book can spark something in your head where you come up with this like great, whether it's inspirational, whether it's talking about something you've been through, there's always something to pull from it that you can create content with. So kind of going elsewhere rather than just staring at your phone trying to make something is super helpful. Okay, next question is, a lot of this business is mindset. Can you shed some light on that and how you've transformed your mindset to where you have gotten today?
Okay, so number one, this is the most important and something that I waver on in the different seasons of my life. Remembering first and foremost, this business is a true business. We may not pay a brick and mortar, we may not pay rent, but we most certainly have ebbs and flows of the business. So you have to have a long-term picture of where you want to be. So a lot of my mindset is going to be my short-term goals, which is my daily goals and my weekly goals. And some of those are really volume-based, because I don't want to say, oh, I'm going to be 80K this month, and then just it's pie in the sky. I have no actual nuts and bolts to get there volume related wise. So I know to the T how many enrollments that I want to have each day. If I miss a day, like that's fine, but I typically spend a little more time in conversations to make up for that later. Like I have my PPA goal, which if you're new, PPA goal just means that there's a report and it just means personal enrollments. I actually, because I work multiple family accounts, and in my old business, I started doing something new that I really like. In my old business, we had a sheet of paper that we filled out with the goals and the lines to fill in. For me, I just have it on a notebook paper where I can see it. I actually am writing down each and every customer, not just relying on the reporting system through Lavelle. I'm writing down each customer and promoter, because visually I have numbers on a page of how many I want. So visually when I'm penciling that person in, it gives me that little bit of gratification. So I have a piece of paper with numbers and I know what I want my PPA to be. And so that's really helpful. Okay, so that's mindset. I have something else that could fall in there, but I'm going to say it later. Blinders on, knowing that this is a business. It ebbs and flows. This is what I wanted to talk about. The reason I think it's important from my background, knowing that I've been in health and wellness for 4 years is, and Im's talked about this before, but those of you who don't know, I think it's important to mention that we just finished up a season that is not a boom season. Sometimes some people refer it to as the planting season, and harvest season is coming. We're as Im was saying, we're trending upward now and we're kicking booty. But come New Year and spring, it is not unusual for someone in health and wellness to have their paycheck double and triple. So it's very important to know that, because in a business, you need to keep a long-term mindset of, okay, this is a business. What am I doing today? What am I focusing on today? How many people am I talking to today that's going to actually influence my paycheck come spring? It's really important to take this seriously if you want to make serious money. If you want to make hobby money, that's fine. But I'm coming from a person who wants to retire my husband and have a legacy for my family money. And with that comes a lot of work, and it comes with some sacrifice, but gosh, this is really fun work. So I obviously wouldn't be where I am today if I didn't get to the point where you see your hard work pay off, and just don't give up on yourself before your hard work pays off. So that was my whole point. It's like, you know, we really need to know that in health and wellness in this industry, our boom season is in the spring. So stay steadfast with planting these seeds. And I cannot freaking wait to blow the lid off with everybody. So I wanted to mention that, and that's my mindset. It's long-term and it's short-term. I know nuts and bolts in my volume of what I need to do each day, and I know my long-term vision, and I know my vision future for my family 5 years down the road. Plugging in, like I said before, from my enroller with my first MLM, quit 2 months in. I had no idea what I was doing. I only had that 100 Facebook friends. I was terrified about that. I was kind of a private person. Boy, have I changed. But, you know, it was really terrifying. And so it's funny, but Ed, my husband, actually thought it was funny that I was so scared. And so he added 1,000 friends on my Facebook my first week in MLM. He said he just picked all the women that were smiling or they had babies in their picture. And I was like, you know what, that's great. Okay. Because I was literally terrified. And that was just something, you know, something that I had to push out of my comfort zone and kind of let go of control of, because I knew that my family wasn't supportive. So if your family is not supportive at all, there's still a way for you to be successful. You know, there's the world wide web of prospects out there with the touch of your finger. And that's the coolest thing about this team is there's so much training on our team page and so much available to you to run a booming business online. So I really jumped in cold network from the get-go. Not one family member or friend supported me. I can count on one hand how many has over the last 4 years. So it's really crazy. And that statistic or that saying is so true. Like, your strangers support you or celebrate you before your loved ones like will even support you. So okay, so that's all mindset. So weekly, daily goals helps my mindset. And so goals, I guess, have goals, have them where you can see them. That really helps my mindset. Self-development helps my mindset every day. I am busy. I'm really busy. And I put podcasts on and I do everything. I would love to sit down right now, and I would love to sit down with the 5-second rule. That's what I'm currently listening to again. It's the bomb, and I'll talk about that later too. But I'm really busy, and so I have to rely on Audible or podcasts, and that works well. It puts me in the right frame of mind. So do what works for you self-development wise, but that's what I do. And I'd love to sit down and take notes with it and stuff. And I get those moments here and there, but, you know, just make sure to do it daily. And then my last thing is just, I have a goal of 10 samples per month sold. I want to take it back to the basics with this business and have you guys realize what we have our hands on with Thrive. But I've been in a previous MLM and I was with that company for 3 years. And I actually I enrolled more with that company. In fact, I lost myself. And the thing I love about Lavelle is a little bit of my Thrive journey is the fact that I got pregnant right after I joined. And instead of letting it completely discourage me, I did have to dial it back for a couple months, but I still showed up every day. And so, you know, when life throws you curveballs, it's just really important to know like what your goals are and where you're going, and know that maybe this isn't your time to sprint, but you've got to still plug in. You've got to still, you know, hold yourself accountable. But the 10 samplers, I've got an example for that. I was going to have the baby and we were halfway through September, and I was like, well, crap, I've only sold 6 samples. And I was like, you know, I have quite a bit of product. So I did a giveaway of the remaining sample. I actually did 10 of the remaining samples, and it was just a 1 day of Thrive, and it was a giveaway. So I used it to boost my interactions on my page, and the post worked really well for me. And then I found a way to send the samples. It's 1 day of Thrive, just one of each item, and I sent it as a large envelope. So it was only $1.20 to do that. So that was something that I actually got. I think over 50% of those people by now have been customers or promoters. So, you know, the most important thing, the whole point of this and mindset and everything, I'm talking too long, sorry, squirrel. But what I was going to say is know what you have your hands on with Thrive, because if you just keep it about the product and get the product in people's hands and keep it that simple, you can do anything in this business. And so I held myself accountable. I was having a baby. I knew I wasn't going to get as many samples out as I wanted. And I knew when I got home, it was going to be a little tough. So I went ahead and got those samples out right before I went to the hospital, like 2 days before. I went to the post office, mailed them out. And literally I was talking to people in the hospital that freaking love their results. So, you know, they not all of them signed up right away, but here I am a couple months later, and at least 50% of those free samples signed up. So, you know, do what you got to do, set your goals. And I don't love to give stuff away for free, but I just knew that I wasn't going to hit my goal. And so you roll up your sleeves and don't be afraid to get a little gritty and leverage what you have on hand to get people on these products. So, last thing, fall in love with the 3-step. Mindset wise, the last thing I wanted to say was, with my journey, when I was pregnant, I was taking the Thrive and it wasn't really like hitting me the way it would if I wasn't pregnant. And so it's been really cool after 10 months with the company to now be on Thrive, not pregnant, and, you know, starting really to heal from everything. And so, hang on, bud. And so it has been really cool to experience that. And so what I was going to say is if you're finding your business is getting stale, go off the products for at least 3 days and then go back on them. And do a Facebook Live. I absolutely love this idea, but do a Facebook Live like a clickbait, you know, I quit Thrive, you know, and talk about it. Tell your story. Tell how powerful these products are and explain in detail, like what kind of things it does for your body. Because I guarantee you're going to be like so excited. So that's another kind of mindset trick, I feel like.
I love that. I had a conversation with somebody today that just came to me for advice because she was having trouble with her mindset and she was feeling discouraged, and she kind of just wanted me to lead her in the right direction. And something I talked to her about was what I talked about on the training 2 weeks or whenever the last one I did was about expectations. And I love what Amanda said about understanding the groundwork that you have to put in and when it will pay off, rather than expecting and having these expectations placed on your business that you're supposed to be in a certain place at a certain time and that you're supposed to have this X amount of volume, or I'm supposed to promote, or why. Like, you place these expectations when your focus needs to be on not focusing on those, but focusing on the footwork. And I had somebody reach out, I think it was after she did like a balance post for the $15 or the $25 off. And she's like, well, you know, I talked to like 25 people, but only 5 signed up. And I'm like, but that's awesome. I said, because that's 20 people that now in the next couple months are going to be coming to you. It's all the footwork you have to understand that you put in to get in contact with people and have those relationships. And then, like she said, you know, it's hard to say like, oh, there's a slow season. And nobody likes to say that because you can make any season whatever it is. But statistically, with the industry we're in, with the products that we sell, like New Year's resolutions are our jam. And like that is when our business booms. So that is when it's going to pay off all this footwork you're putting in, all these seeds you're putting in. That's when it's going to pay off. When we come out with, you know, the big bonuses and the big sales and the new products and this and that, and people are ready to commit to their goals, it's the timing of it. So don't place those expectations on your business and then allow it to hurt your mindset. Focus on the groundwork you're doing every day and just be committed to it, because you're not going to get rich quick. You know, you're not going to hop in and be a millionaire all of a sudden, but quitting doesn't get you any closer to your goals. You know, that doesn't get you any closer to where you want to be. So just really staying committed with that mindset, I think that's huge. Okay. Next question. What are your top tips for building a business / relationships on social media?
Okay. So what I just wrote down, that I go by and have used it for years, and I tell my husband constantly, but 2 things. First off, people buy from someone they like, they know, and they trust. And I know it's like one of the most basic concepts in sales, But I think when newbies get started on this journey, or even just anyone in general, sometimes we can kind of jump off on putting a little too much thrive and making our feed, a little too much of that. And we really need to be pouring in the good nuggets about our life and who we are and what we're passionate about. The 5 things that M talks about, you can search it on our team page if you're new. But they need to know you as a person, and then that just comes with developing your brand. But I feel like, okay, what was the question? It was just social media.
It was Katie wrote these questions. That's why I'm not not all there. I'm just rereading them. What are your top tips for building? It says a business / relationship, but with what you're saying, I'm saying more about building those relationships, which turns into business.
Yeah. So like I said, I think keeping in mind that people buy from someone that they like, know, and trust, and remembering that when you're writing your posts and when you're talking to people. So when you're writing your posts, sometimes it's a good idea to pick out that one potential that you have in your mind and what would actually speak to her, and making it about her. When you're writing that post. And it's funny, I've done that before, and I've actually closed people on the spot from that. Like, we had one conversation, I made a killer post and they literally signed up. So making it about them, and then in the conversations and developing a relationship, make sure not to verbal diarrhea on them, but instead make it about them, their life, and their journey, and how these products are going to change their everyday life, and what it's gonna make them feel like. Katie used the example of, what if you didn't have to hit snooze on your alarm? What if you got up every day and had your kids' lunches and were actually 10 minutes early getting out of the house? How would that frame your whole day? Because people say the first hour of your day is so important in how the rest of your day goes, right? That's what our product can do. Like, you can wake up before your alarm on these products. That's pretty valuable. I know some people that would pay big money just to solve that problem in their life, let alone their health and wellness needs. So just knowing the other thing, the like, know, and trust is big as a nugget to remember, but also the with them, what's in it for them. That's the other kind of salesy thing that I try to remember, is that I'm making sure that I'm giving them value. I'm giving value on my social media page, and I'm giving value each day in my conversations. They know that Amanda is the girl that's going to thrive for life. They know that they can always come to Amanda for a special or a deal. I will get gritty. I will get them in the computer. I will take good care of them. Actually, tonight, this is kind of sad, but I'll bring it up. I was terrified to reach out to this girl. I knew her from, I actually lived in the Virgin Islands. Yeah, I know, you can be jealous. That's where I met my husband. So I left Missouri and moved there, and I met this girl there, but barely knew her. Her husband just died like 2 months ago, suddenly. The most beautiful couple you would ever say. Well, I just commented on a post. I didn't even send her a message, which is really crappy of me, but I'm so weird about stuff like that. Like, that's really hard. I mean, they were a young, beautiful couple, and he literally died in his sleep, like an aneurysm or something. So tonight she messages me and she said, "Man, you got a deal for me?" And she just knows that I do whatever it takes to get her in the computer. She knows that about me. And she knows that I'm never leaving this company. Like, I'm Thrive for Life. Like, I'm here. I show up every day. I want your business. I want to make you happy. And that customer, I wouldn't say she's my BFF, but that's a nugget for me too, is when you're building relationships, you've got to make your customers your good friends. Better, I'm not there yet, but if you can make them feel like your best friends, that's even better. Thank you note and a DFT that they haven't tried yet. It's so simple and so cheap, and it goes a long way. And I've had people try the DFT that I sent them, like the burn is a really common one that I'll send out if they've been on the other products. So for her, anyway, her husband just died. She texted me tonight. She was like, Amanda, I need 5 bottles of balance. And I was like, okay, yes, ma'am. So, you know, that's just a good example of building relationships with people. And just, you've got to, when you're newer, you've got to show up for your business every day. You got to treat it like a business, and you got to show up. If you want to make more than just, couple pennies, like you really do got to show up, and plugging in and becoming a sponge is huge. But that's the biggest thing. Like, people want to buy from you because you're their person. Like, there's other people who do thrive in the world. So you have to give them you, and the world needs to hear your story. They need to hear you and what you have to offer them. And that's why, for me personally, conversations are like my biggest thing. And it could be somewhat that I struggle with creativity sometimes for the other part, but I really excel at being that person for someone else. So
No, I love that completely. And it's just so important. And the way that I do it in my mind is at least every other day, what you talked about, how like writing a post to a specific person, what I try to do is, whether it's something I've seen on my news feed, something somebody's talking about, or something I've been through, I try to, on my social media each week, write a post that I would have needed, or that would have helped me, or that would have touched me, or maybe it's something that somebody's going through. And I've had that too, where, you know, maybe I've been talking to somebody and then you write a post that's inconspicuously not about them, but it's like, you know, to the girl, and you write it, but you know they need it. You have to have that trust and that friendship, and you have to always be available. So even if I don't post about the products for 5 days, I've built my brand so well that if somebody comes on social media and they're my friend and we have a relationship and they need a Thrive product, they know to come to me. I don't have to remind them on their newsfeed. And that's the power of branding, is people knowing that you're available to them, you're there for them, and they have a relationship with you. And that's huge. And that's what the basis of your entire business truly is. Okay. What does leadership mean to you?
Someone, oh, sorry.
No, you're fine. What did you say?
I hit it and it was weird, but I heard it. Okay, so really quick, someone asked on the chat and I was looking at it. Interactions, I'm just going to be totally honest with you. Interacting with people is, because of my state of life right now, not them throwing you excuses, but it is not my top 3 IPA. My top 3 IPA is typically my relationships are being built in my messenger. However, I do have a hot list of people that I keep each month, and I will go and interact on them. So if I'm short of time, I have to be really careful, because I'm so tired that I can get in the scroll hole really, really bad. And what I mean by that is, I'll be interacting with people, and then all of a sudden I'm buying a pair of shoes from a blogger that I didn't need. And so I have to be really careful about that. And I can get in the comparison game. And honestly, like, when you're talking about mindset, like, what other people are doing in their business is none of your business. Like, that's the biggest tip about mindset, is blinders on. So for me, I'm at a weird state in my life right now that's not normal for people, but I'm super sleep deprived. So for me to be quick and work my business really efficiently, I just do my hot list. It's 20 people. That's it. 20 of my top people, I go and interact with them just a couple times a week. So a lot of people have a really nice set time of where they're going and interacting on stories, and they're doing all this stuff, and it's all really great to do, but I'm just being honest. And then, okay, so leadership, my biggest thing that Em knows I'm going to say is, true leaders lead from the front. And the thing about that's been really fun, I got a couple tips for that, but true leaders lead from the front. And if you got to match their pace, this isn't a news flash to some people, but you sign people up, and there's a good percent of them that really just don't do anything. And so you sit with the sitters, you run with the people who want it, and you walk with the people who want it. You just match their energy and you mirror their energy. And that, to me, is what leadership is in a nutshell. True leaders are going to fill their cup, and they're going to come ready to go when they're getting in their messenger and need to help other people. Leadership is hopping on three-way chats with people and telling them how to talk through their conversations from screenshots. Leadership is just reminding them, hey, we've got a team call tonight. Please hop on. We'd love to see your face. Showing people love and being selfless. Sometimes leadership is sacrificing some of my product credits so one of my team members can get a sale closed. So those are all examples. Something else I do on specifically, I've done it before on a month where we didn't do the 25 in credit and it was a little stressful for me, but this is a hot time when the Thrive offers the 25 in credit. So a fun little nugget, if you have a team working with you and you have someone in their VIPs or they're newer in general, or you just know they're pushing for a goal, I actually throw down toe to toe. And it's really fun, but I've done this 7 or 8 times and it's super fun. It doesn't help my IPA, but that's not what leadership is. Leadership is definitely helping someone achieve their goal that want it, right? So I've got this girl and she is Fire. I don't know if she's on here. I'm not going to say her name, but she's Fire and she is running for 4K right now. And I've already done it once this month. And tomorrow I'm going to tell her again, let's do this. She's only like, 800 volume from 4K. And she's got plenty of time, but she wants it by the end of the month. So I'm going to message her and I'm like, girl, you are killing it. I'm so excited. Let's help you get there. And today for 24 hours, any customer you put in, I'm matching you a customer. I don't match the volume. I just match customer per customer. So I'm not like trying to get all crazy and get a certain type of customer. I'm not that good. But if she gets a customer, I get a customer. And it doesn't matter. If she gets a balanced customer, if I happen to the next customer is a 3-step order, that's fine. It's going to her. So I match them, go toe to toe, customer. It lights a fire under my ass. Like it lights a fire. So because I'm competitive somewhat. And so I want to be a good example and I don't want to like look like an idiot and not match them. So she gets customer, I match with a customer. She gets promoter, I enroll a promoter under her website. And that is so fun. Sometimes I've done it where it's just customer driven, but someone in their VIPs or who is super new, I go toe to toe. And I think that's a fun leadership tactic that just says, because you want this and I believe in you, let's do this. So I like it. I think it's fun. So that's a nugget for you. Leadership. Oh, my last thing for leadership, and then I'll shut up. So, 2 things. Okay. So first off, I like to post stuff, and you need a space in your house, where it's your space. It's where you have your planner. It's where you have your hot list maybe, and it's where you can take notes from self-development. As long as you're not like a hot mess like I am right now. But, and then you want to have, I think you all should write down your enrollments and visually see them. And that way, if you get your paycheck and you're not happy, look in the mirror, right? Because Thrive rewards those who enroll. So, like a list of enrollments. So what I was going to say is something else that I do when I am really on my game, and trust me, once I sleep a couple nights in a row, I am going to literally go 200K. I promise. I'm saying that for you. I just need some sleep. I've been Googling how I'm going to get this figured out. But until then, I'm just, rocking out my IPA and trying to help my newbies. So, but the Post-it note, okay? People are like, oh my God, I want a rock star. Everybody I recruit doesn't work. Nobody does anything. They get started and then they hit a VIP or they don't hit a VIP and they give up. And it's like they feel super defeated. And something I do is I have a Post-it note, and I really visualize who I want in my business. I pray them into my business. And this Post-it note has the qualities of the person that I want in my business. And I get super specific. And I have that Post-it note where I can see it right next to my hot list. My hot list is something I look at every day because I want to visualize what I can do to get them in my business. The Post-it note goes hand in hand. I want to make sure I'm putting quality people on that hot list, and those are the people I'm building like the right and tight relationship with. Keep it right and tight, right? So anyway, literally I look at this Post-it note and it's got all these qualities of who I want. And what happens is, as I'm reading it and I'm looking at these people, and this is when I've had more sleep, but typically this is how I do it. And I'm looking at these people and I'm like, what am I doing to become that person on that Post-it note? How am I showing up every day for my business? How am I showing up? Am I an encourager? Do I love on people? Am I giving? Am I someone who shows up in leadership? Am I someone who puts forth the effort to get people enrolled and takes this business serious like a business? Am I someone who doesn't give up? Like, those are all qualities that you want from a potential rock star. So I write those qualities down. I get super serious about it. I write the qualities down and I look at it every day. And then I work on how I can envelop and become those qualities. So that's a leadership tip for me. Another thing, last two things for leadership is something I'm super passionate about. Not always the best at, but something I'm always working on. Know your close rate. This has to do with other questions too, but from a leadership perspective, like, have enough conversations per day and know like how many conversations you need to have to get those closes. Hold yourself accountable, call yourself on your own BS, and don't be busy in your mind. Leaders aren't busy in their mind. Leaders aren't spending their time scrolling and wondering why their business has fallen flat. Leaders don't sit in the comparison trap. So again, I recommend that if I had a top IPA, it would be conversations, because when I have a newbie, the more conversations they have, whether I'm having conversations with them and their potential or they're having conversations, the more conversations you have is the more, it's a numbers game. It is, you can't say the wrong thing to the right person. I do believe that, unless it, well, no, I do believe that. At the end of the day, it is a numbers game, because the more you talk to people, the better you're going to get at talking to people. So anyway, so I feel like know your ratio and know how many people you have to talk to per day. Katie used to say, she definitely makes sure that when she's on fire, she's getting 3 to 5 people written down in her planner, or moving forward the relationship, whether it's pulling from Instagram, Facebook, or Facebook to text. So know your numbers and what you need to do to get results. Be a results-driven leader. So, and lastly, your work ethic writes your paycheck. So,
absolutely. I think that's the biggest thing, is so many people think that becoming a leader means all these different things and that you're doing these tasks or you're managing, or it's not that at all. Being a leader is working your business the way that you want your team to. And instead of looking at their enrollments or their PPA or, this and that and trying to make them work, you need to be that runner you want. Like she said, you need to possess the qualities that you want in people, and you have to hold yourself accountable. So when I wake up in the morning, I don't expect all of you to do your IPAs. I expect me to do my IPAs, because I can't expect anybody to do that if I'm not doing. If I'm not enrolling somebody, I can't expect anybody else to. And I've never shared this, but something that I hold myself accountable to every single month is, in your cloud office, you can look at your team rankings PPA. So the people that have the top PPA in your team, I will not leave the month if I'm not in the top 3, because then I'm not doing my job. I'm not leading from the front. I'm not producing results or growing enough to show you how to grow your business. I'm not enrolling enough to teach you things to show you how to do it. You have to hold yourself accountable. And if you're not doing anything, how is your team going to? So hold yourself accountable each and every day, and it will fall into place. It comes with being selfless and having a servant heart and choosing them over you. Like she said, getting in three-way chats when maybe you're tired and you want to ignore your messenger, or you don't want to get on that Zoom, you don't want to do that call. It's those little things that make you grow so immensely, and then just being accountable every single day. Okay. What is a tip you can give to the people who are moving a little bit slower and they haven't hit their goals like they wanted?
So we've kind of answered this in all of it in general, but the biggest thing I think that I just want to say is you got to show up every day. You've got to be a sponge. You've got to be constantly growing, finding people you admire and emulating their success, but then just use them as a jumping off period to make it your own style. But find those people that are your inspiration. And I am talking about Thrive specifically, a leader, a top leader with Lavelle that you relate to, and that, you know, go from their page and use it as inspiration. Really hold tight to people's stories, because not everybody got to the top in, you know, a blink of an eye. And just like us, you can't compare. You have to, you know, be honest with yourself and really stay out of that comparison game. So it comes with lots of self-development, lots of plugging in, and you can't compare my 4 years to your 1 month. It doesn't happen. But let me tell you, if you can really like be consistent and have fun, like you have to have fun. You have to. Sometimes I mess with people and I have a weird sense of humor about it, but it's fun to me, and I'm doing my follow-ups, and sometimes I'm a little sassy about it, and that's fun to me. But I'm getting that reaction I need. I'm getting those relationships built and doing what I need to do. And I know that, yeah, you know, my business isn't at the top of my game, but you know what? When I do know that it's my time to run, I run. You know, there's a lot, just know that when you're newer, there's a lot more that goes behind the scenes in the grind. We're leveraging, we're having a ton of conversations. We're getting nitty gritty with people. You know, there's a lot more to someone than their pretty highlight reel. So just know that when you're building your business, that you have to do things that you don't want to do. You know, in order to be successful. So you have to roll up your sleeves, and you have to talk to people, and you have to get uncomfortable, and you have to ask for the sale. Every single conversation, you have to ask for the date. You have to say, well, you know, I'm so excited to get you feeling good. You know, when is a good time? Or, you know, is now good for you? You know, you have to ask for the sale. And there's little bits and pieces where you're going to get a little uncomfortable, but the more you do it and the more people you talk to, the more comfortable you're going to be. So those people whose business is going slower, a lot of times they're 1 foot in and 1 foot out. And I don't want to hurt anybody's feelings, but this is something that if you want to really like hit those goals, you have to have goals, and you have to have them written down, and you have to stay consistent. So I think that's probably know your close rate, know how many, make the commitment, know how many people you have to talk to per day to get someone entered in the computer. Maybe you can't, you know, maybe you're not quite there where you're getting people every day. But man, these sales are hot. I mean, I think anybody and everybody can at least get a balanced customer per day if you really apply yourself. So pro bars or something, right? So just know that you are the one holding yourself back, and you just have to call yourself out and really plug into this team and this tribe, because oh my gosh, like I would be nowhere without you guys. So
yeah, the consistency part is huge. And you know, when people come to me and they say these things, the first thing I do, if like they feel like they're stuck or they're not signing people or the momentum's not there, or you know, nothing I'm doing is working, the first thing I do is go to their page, and 9 out of 10 times they maybe posted once or twice about it, and then they've shared memes for 4 days, and then like one, you know what I mean? Like the consistency has to be every single day. You have to commit every single day to showing up and sharing your life, and sharing, like she said, like the pieces of this business, the pieces of these products. And I don't know what I can compare it to, but let's say you post for 3 days and then you don't do anything for one, you're back to square one. Like you have to stay consistent, and you don't have to spend all day on your phone. You don't have to, you know, do crazy hours. You can fit it into whenever, but you have to stay consistent. I need people to see my face on my social media every single day. They know without a doubt whether it is something inspirational, whether it's the product, whether it's a live, my story, something funny, something I've gone through. They will see me every single day. No matter what, I'm going to be there. So give yourself grace with the time that this business takes, but also be super real with yourself, with what you're actually doing on a daily basis. So that's awesome. Okay, last thing, and we'll wrap it up. What are your top 3 favorite books?
Okay, I was going to answer someone's question too. When I worked corporate America and I retired myself, I was making a good income, but by the time you factor in childcare and all those other expenses, I think I was coming out ahead for all that stressful job and missing out on all Graham's stuff. I literally, once you got serious about it and like calculated and budgeted, I was only coming out ahead $300 a month to work a corporate job. And so I took a chance on myself, and I worked this business like a business. But at that time, I was, I think I was making just right around, I would say it was only like $1,200 a month or something like that when I decided to jump in full time. But either way, I still work my business the same. I might even venture to say that I did better when I worked, because busy people, they say this when someone gives you the thing about being busy, but busy people are the people you want on your team because they know how to get shit done. So, I feel like for me, I was really intentional with that hour a night that I was working. And so, again, nothing's changed in all these years. I had a lot of conversations. My posts were pitiful back then, but people weren't coming to me so much. So maybe I didn't have the attraction marketing thing figured out, but I knew how to make a friend. I knew how to talk to someone. So, again, just really being focused and intentional with what time you do have. So, okay, 3 books really quick. GoPro. I just am always going to say this book. Yes, I have other mushy, fun books, but honestly, like if you haven't read this and you're in this industry, shame on you. And some of it's so old school and it's just so good anyway. The Compound Effect that we did as a team from our leaders. I freaking love this. I think it's chapter 3 or 4. Like, the first couple chapters takes a minute, and then like chapter 3 or 4, it's like a slap in the face. Like, lose that weight you need to lose, do what you need to do. Okay, and then my last one I'm doing on Audible, but I think this will really be nice to bring up. Read it, listen to on Audible, or it's not really a book you have to take notes with, but The 5-Second Rule by Mel Robbins. I love it. She's funny and it's fantastic. The reason I recommend The 5-Second Rule, everybody get it right now if you haven't, and I'm on my second time with it, but I've been doing that. I've been doing The 5-Second Rule. I've enacted it into my life. I've been listening to it for only 2 days. And I've worked out both days because instead of making excuses, I sighed in and I said, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, blast off. And I went and did it instead of making an excuse. So around the holidays, I think this is a perfect book for you. So The 5-Second Rule with Mel Robbins, literally, like, anytime before I make an excuse, I'm trying to train my brain to use that 5-second rule. It's got all kinds of scientific background in it, but I would butcher it if I try to explain it to you. But the biggest thing is, like, the other day, the dishes were piled mile high, and I just 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. I took care of it. Like, instead of just being in a bad mood because I'm not getting anything done, I just roll up my sleeves and do it. Just like how I really needed to connect with my customers, but I wasn't feeling very good. I was kind of, I didn't want to talk to anybody. I 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and I went and talked to them, and I got 2 orders out of that. So, it's just stuff like that. Like, call yourself on your own BS, and that book is incredible. So, this is my last one. This is by Javelina and Catherine Montgomery, and I found this with our old MLM. But this lady, it's a Christian person. This I Do Hard Things. It's like, I think it's like a workbook in there too. This book is life. Probably the best book I've ever had. And Javelina has another one called The Good Stuff. Is that right, Katie? The Good Stuff they're very cheap. The Good Stuff has on Facebook group. She has daily videos with it that are incredible. They're like 4 to 5 minutes, and then you read your little snippet. So she's incredible. I Do Hard Things is really like getting real with yourself. And I just think it's an incredible book. It's one of my all-time favorites. So that's it.
Awesome. Thank you so much. I hope you guys took notes. This was amazing. I did record it, so I will upload it right after we get off of here. But thank you for showing up for your business. It's all commitment. It's all consistency. And like she said, it's all in your head. If you get out of your damn way and you soak up the information and you're consistent every day, incredible things will happen. So hope you guys took some great stuff from this. I will upload this right after, and I hope that you all have a great night. Bye.